The first 10 days of March are not about figuring it out. They're about surrendering. We are in Pisces season. We have a total lunar eclipse in Virgo tomorrow, the 3rd of March. We have Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Mars has just entered Pisces today, March the 2nd. And Jupiter, the greater benefic, is going to station direct on March the 10th. So this is not the time to micromanage your life. You are going to feel tempted to do so. You are really tempted because the moon is in Virgo. And again, the total lunar eclipse is in Virgo tomorrow. So there's this temptation to write the lists, to perfect things, to analyze things, to get to the bottom of things and to get clarity. But this is a time to let the ocean current, because Pisces is the great, big, wide, expansive ocean. This is the time to let the current carry you somewhere that your conscious mind would never choose. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. Now let's walk through this step by step, and then I'll give you very practical ways to work with these energies. So the first thing, Mars enters Pisces. And this can be interpreted quite simply as the dissolving of will. Why? Okay. Mars is not comfortable in Pisces. Understandably, Mars is a hot and dry planet. He rules Aries, fire sign, and he rules Scorpio, which is a water sign. So, but anyway, you would think he's quite comfortable in another water sign. Not so. Mars is our drive, our assertion, our direction. And in Pisces, he loses his sharp edges. He loses his weapons. It's, if you want to have a visual of this, if you want to think of something, just think of this hot warrior, big, bold, strong warrior, all passion and drive, waving his swords around, being dunked into the middle of the ocean, like, dropped from a helicopter or something right into the middle of the ocean. I think they do something like that with like special forces or something. They just drop these people in the middle of the ocean and say, swim. Well, this is where Mars finds himself. Mars finds himself in the middle of the ocean. And so you are finding yourself in the middle of the ocean, and you may feel less certain, less decisive, and more fluid, more emotional about stuff, possibly exhausted and tired, but also strangely inspired. So Mars in Pisces cannot conquer anything. He can't even strategize. There's no point in creating a strategy on how you're going to take over the world at this time or in the very near future, because Mars finds himself drifting. And this is going to set the tone for most of March, but specifically the first 10 days of March. If you try to force clarity right now, you are going to face, not even face, you're literally going to feel it, because Pisces is water, emotions. You are going to feel friction. So don't be surprised if you find yourself feeling more anxious, more overwhelmed. It's Mars in Pisces. He, he's, yeah, I mean, excuse me, I, it's hard to describe. He has very little force, very little ability in the middle of the ocean. All he can do is drift. And if you've been watching my videos in sequence, you will know that I've recounted stories of being carried away by ocean currents. I mean, this has happened to me. It happened to my sister. It was a pretty traumatic day. My sister was actually carried out by the ocean when we were children, far out, really far. No one could see her, and we we didn't know what we didn't know where to go, what to start. I mean, the Coast Guard came out. But anyway, at the end of the day, my sister was safely deposited, returned to us by the ocean. And this is the story I want you to take with you or work with for the rest of this month before Aries season. Okay, so until March 20th, specifically March 20th, 21st. You cannot force anything at this time. You're going to have to soften your grip just like Mars has. He has maybe not necessarily let go of his swords and all his weaponry, but he has softened his grip, and you have to do the same thing, because what you're going to discover while you are drifting in the ocean is you're going to find something creative, something inspirational is going to be emerging, right? Something's going to be bubbling up. So my guidance for you at this time is don't push, don't force anything. Redirect your energy into imagination, into art, into prayer, into music, into compassion, acts of compassion and kindness. Let your actions be intuitive rather than strategic. Okay, second thing. Tomorrow's Virgo lunar eclipse. There's a lot to unpack about this lunar eclipse, so I encourage you to go watch my video on the lunar eclipse. There's deceit, there's all kinds of ugliness going on there. But really, another big theme here is misdirected perfection. Because the moon is going to want you to create order. The moon's going to insist you get organized, you get orderly, you get precise. You're going to, she's going to want you to perfect things, improve things, correct things. And yes, under a normal full moon, every astrologer would be saying to you, yep, go ahead, make your lists, go fix systems, go refine details. But here's the paradox. The ruler of this lunar eclipse tomorrow is Mercury. And where do we find Mercury? We find Mercury retrograde in Pisces, in the ocean. Not quite alongside Mars, because Mars has just entered Pisces, but he is in the general vicinity. He is in the middle of this big, wide ocean. And he's doing the backstroke. So he's not necessarily flowing with the current. Okay. So your mind is not reliable right now. Attempts at mental gymnastics, hyperanalysis, this is all distractions. You may feel like you must figure things out, but believe me, whatever mental list you are working on right now is not going to reveal what matters, what truly matters. What truly matters is just trying to identify where you are in time and place. In other words, which ocean are you swimming in? Which emotional ocean are you swimming in? Are you swimming in an ocean of anxiety and nervous system dysregulation? Are you just overwhelmed, exhausted, burnt out? Where are you? Just exactly where are you? Which ocean are you swimming in? Because this eclipse is for sure going to try and misdirect your attention. We just have to see what's going on out there in the collective, in the world, with the wars and the wars, the violence, the horror. If you are going to focus on all of that, guess what is happening to your nervous system? And whatever is going on with your nervous system is helping you attract more of that. So the more anxious you feel, the more worry you carry, the more of that you are going to experience. That is the ocean you are going to find yourself swimming in. This is not the time to consciously choose the so-called right path for you. Again, I've spoken about this in other videos because you're likely going to choose the one aligned with your ego and not your soul. So Pisces season says you don't yet know what you need, so surrender. So what is my guidance for the eclipse? Do not make major irreversible decisions this week. Do not assume you have the full picture. Notice what starts to dissolve or has dissolved for you. Notice where you are being redirected. And please, please, this is it's a big one. Please, please pay attention to your dreams. I have so many clients telling me at this time that they are dreaming of their ancestors, dreaming of, departed loved ones, friends, etc., even pets. Do pay attention to that, but also pay attention to the symbols that are coming up in your dreams. What symbol keeps coming up? I mean, like, for example, a black dog, or you're dreaming of eating a lot of cakes, or whatever the case may be, pay attention to the symbols. And again, ask yourself not what should I be fixing at this time, but where is life quietly moving me? If you are new here, I'm Yolanda, and if you'd like support navigating this season more personally, do remember that I offer private mentorship where we work consciously with your birth chart and the timing of your life, and the link is in the description box. Okay, so next up, we have Venus entering Aries, and she does so depending on where you live, March 6th or 7th, and this is a potent ingress. She is not as happy and as comfortable in Aries as she is in Pisces. Venus loves being in Pisces, but she is in Aries, passion reignited, right? She is on fire. She's bold. She is alive. She is passionate, right? Now, anyway, Venus is going to bump into Neptune and Saturn the minute she enters Aries. And what this means is that your desire is going to have to pass through illusion, which is Neptune, and reality. In other words, your desire is going to experience a reality check. You may feel like you have to get romantically involved with someone, or you may feel not really so much obsessed as intoxicated with someone, very attracted to someone. And so, but you may also want to start something creative, a book, a work of art, whatever it is, a film, um, even an adventure. You may want to go on this wonderful adventure. But all of this, whatever it is that's coming up around March 6th, 7th, 8th, is going to experience a reality check, because first Neptune is going to intoxicate. There's this feeling of intoxication, like, oh, I must have this person, I must do this thing. And then Saturn is going to say, yeah, this is possibly, probably, most likely not for you. This is fantasy. Now, why isn't it going to be for you? It will be for you if you are prepared to build on it, if you're prepared to do the work to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. I keep thinking about short-term fulfillment and long-term fulfillment. There is this possibility that you may get your desire, that something may manifest for you, whatever it is you're desiring. It may happen very quickly, very suddenly this week, March 6th, 7th, 8th, and you get it. So, for example, you obsessed with this person, not necessarily obsessed, but intoxicated. You want to be with this person. And it may be that your desire is fulfilled, but it's as swiftly as it is fulfilled, you're also as quickly disappointed and the passion is expunged or just dampened because something better, your desire was going to be something greater in the long term if you had held out, if you were prepared to practice patience and hold out. Because remember, Saturn is patience. So hopefully this is making sense to you. There's this potential of something manifesting or happening for you very quickly, but it's not necessarily ideal because a greater desire wants to come through, wants to manifest for you. Okay, so what is my guidance here? My guidance is notice what you suddenly want. It's a sudden desire, a sudden craving. What is it? And then don't rush it. Let Saturn test it. Okay, next. Mercury trine Jupiter. So Mercury is going to be trine Jupiter on the 9th, March the 9th, but Mercury is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde, and this is the second of three trines. And quite literally, what this is a shift in your perspective. And it's going to be caused by a shift in your emotional state. Again, we're going back to nervous system regulation and practicing your breathing, practicing being in your body. Okay, it's not about your mind. Your mind is not working in your favor. Please remember this. You may suddenly come to understand something that confused you before around this time, okay, around March the 9th. And this is perspective returning. It may be that a conversation may bring clarity. It may be that a realization suddenly lands for you. Again, this is an internal state and it has a lot to do with how you are holding, processing your emotions. Are you feeling your feelings? Is your nervous system regulated? The best way to work with this is to reflect, to journal, to meditate. Okay. And then lastly, but far from least, Jupiter is going to station direct on March the 10th, and hope returns, the current changes. Jupiter stations direct in Cancer in the sign of is exaltation. Jupiter is delighted in Cancer, but he has been retrograde, which means he's still powerful, still benefic, still blessing us, but he's not as strong and there's just a lot of backtracking. And especially if you are Cancerian sun, with your sun in the first 15 degrees of Cancer, you may not have been feeling particularly blessed of late, and this is because of Jupiter going backwards in Cancer and square Saturn in Aries. But anyway, let's not go into that. So emotionally and spiritually, something is going to shift for you the minute Jupiter stations. He's not going to be moving very fast in the beginning, but something is going to shift emotionally and spiritually for you around March 10th, 11th. You will move forward differently than you expected because remember, this eclipse is going to come to misdirect you. And because Pisces dissolves your certainty, and because Mars has softened your will, you are now going to be aligned with a different emotional state, a different ocean. Hopefully this makes sense. Okay, so from March 10 onward until Mars enters Aries on April 9th, the skies are clearer. And this is the beginning of a growth window. This is not about frantic expansion because Mars cannot do much in terms of blessing you with strategic drive, but it can help you expand in a nurturing and an emotional way. So Cancer Jupiter grows what feels emotionally safe and meaningful. Okay, so Thank you for watching. I'm Yolanda if you're new here. If this resonates, do tell me in the comments, where do you feel life redirecting you right now?